R. Sarasu is an assistant head of the Department of Computer Science and Engineering, Dhanalakshmi Srinivasan College of Engineering and Technology, Mamallapuram, Chennai. She has 7 years of teaching experience for undergraduate and postgraduate students. She has also served as head of the Department of Information and Technology for 2 years. She has been teaching in the area of data structures, computer architecture, design and analysis of algorithm, internet programming, advanced computer architecture, information security, soft computing, system software, web technology, and advanced Java programming. She has attended various workshops and many faculty development programs. She has also presented papers in national and international conferences. She has comprehensive problem-solving ability and good communication skill with a strong inclination for teaching. Her research interests are web data mining, web data extraction, and semantic information retrieval.
Welcome to UGC lecture series in computer science. Today we are going to see series of lecture on web technology semester 6 paper 15. Unit 2 covers introduction to JavaScript, advantages, variables, operators, expressions, how to declare and use an array, and functions and dialog boxes. So outline of this lecture is control structures, types of control structures, types of selection statement, and types of repetition statement. The last session we were discussing about how to write the JavaScript program, its syntax, and how to code using script. So the difference between HTML and JavaScript. Today we are going to see the series of session on control structures. JavaScript has the following control structures like other programming languages like C. So first structure is sequence structure, next one is selection statement, and third one is repetition statement. So first one is sequence structure. Each and every line in a program or in a JavaScript is called as sequence statement. What is meant by sequence? A line will be executed only the previous has been produced the result. That is the execution line by line. So here in this each statement will be executed one after the other. So grade is equal to windows.prompt, enter the integer code. So we are getting some input from the user by giving the message, enter the integer grade. So next we have to parse that text value into integer value. So this 4 lines will be executed by sequence manner, that is one after the other. So this is the first sequence structure, the first control structures present in JavaScript. It doesn't transfer the control to any part of the program. The control will be there by sequence, that is one line will be executed, next line will be executed after the previous line output. Next statement is selection statement. Selection statement is also called as conditional statements. The set of commands will be executed when the condition is true or condition is false. So the control of the program will be modified here based upon the conditions. So conditional statements are the set of commands used to perform different actions based on different condition. So when the condition is true, some set of statements will be executed, and when condition is false, some set of statements will be executed. So this is called as selection statement. In JavaScript we have conditional statements or selection statements like if statement, if else, and if else, that is nested if else. So this is called as if else ladder or nested if else. First we will see the if statement. So this statement will execute some code only if a specified condition is true. If the condition is true, the code will be executed, otherwise it will transfer the program to the other part of the program. Let us see an example program for this. So here we are writing the script inside the HTML. So this indicates it is a JavaScript program. So script type is equal to text bar JavaScript. We are declaring 2 numbers as a variable. So where number 1 and number 2, we are entering the number 1 and number 2. So we are entering two numbers. If number 1 is equal to number 2, the message will be printed as equal. Otherwise, the loop will come out, the condition or the transfer of the control will come out of the end of the script. So if the condition is true, this numbers are equal will be printed, otherwise it will come out of the loop. So let us see an example. Execute this program. So I am entering 30 for first input, 30 as a second input. So these two numbers are equal. So that control will flow into the body of the statement which we have given in this program. That is, this line will be executed. The condition is false, it will come to the script part, the end of the script part. So this is an example for if statement. Next statement is if else statement. It allows both positive condition as well as negative condition. If the condition is true, the set of statements will be executed, and if the condition is false, some other statements, negative statements will be executed. So the if else statement allows the programmer to specify that a different action is to be performed if the condition is true and when condition is false. So we have the syntax as if condition is true, this first part of the program will be executed, that is code to be executed. If the condition is false, the next part, else part will be executed. Let us see the program for understanding purpose. So we have declared the variable inside the script, and we are getting a number. We are going to check whether a number is even number or not. We are getting the number mod 2 is equal to 0 indicate which is a even number. So this if part will be executed if the condition is true, and it will print the number is even. If the condition is false, it will go on to the next part, else part, and print the number is odd. So different actions will be taken based upon this condition or the expression given inside the if part. So this program is meant for checking whether the given number is even or odd. Let us execute this program and see. So first we have to enter the numbers. So I am entering 30, so which is an even number. So I will be getting the message number is even. So if I am giving the next number as 9, it is an odd number, so the number is odd. So we will check the even and odd using this JavaScript. So if the condition is true, if part will be executed, the condition is false, else part will be executed. So this is the if else conditional statement. And next selection statement was nested if else, that is embedding one if else within another if else is called as nested if else. So we are going to check multiple conditions here. If condition 1 is true, the condition 1 is true, then this statement's if part statement will be executed. Otherwise it will go for condition 2. The condition 2 is true, the set of statement behind this if else if will be executed. If both the condition fails, then the else part will be executed. So this is embedding one if else within another if else. So let us see an example for this. So I am entering marks of a student. So I am declaring the marks variable, and I am giving the value as 75. The marks is greater than or equal to 75, then it will print grade as distinction. Otherwise, if the 60 has been given as an input for marks, the first class will be printed, then 50 second class, and 40. If none condition, if no, all this condition has been failed, then this last else part will be executed. So this is multiple cases. So we can check more than one condition inside this nested if else. Let us execute this program for understanding purpose for nested if else. We have to enter the mark of a student. So if I am entering 75, so it will print grade as distinction. So next, if I am entering the value as 50, so it will print the corresponding class as a second class. So we want to check multiple conditions at a time, then we can use this nested if else. So this is the nested if else conditions and its execution. So next is multiple selection statements. So we cannot give more nested if else inside the if else, so it will be very complicated. To overcome that, we are going in for multiple selection statement. So we can it contains series of decision we can check with a single input. We can take number of n number of decisions using this multiple selection statement. So in JavaScript we can achieve this using switch multiple selection statement to handle the decisions. So multiple selection statement is an algorithm, will contain a series of decision in which a variable or expression is tested separately for each value and different actions will be taken. So example for multiple selection in JavaScript is switch case. So let us see the syntax for switch case. So switch of n, this n represent the condition or the expression to be given here. So if you are entering any expression, then which case is being matched, case 1, case 2 or case n. So all these conditions will be checked. So if the expression does not match with all these cases, then the default case will be executed. Here when the condition is being executed and first case is being executed, we have to come out of the switch case since we have taken the decision. To come out of the switch case, we are going to use this break statement. So break statement skips the rest of the statement present in the program and come out of the switch case. So a series of decisions will be taken based upon this n, switch of n. So the n represents the expressions or conditions to be given. So let us see an example program for this. So I am entering the grade. Grade is a variable. So I am entering, if it is I am entering A, the document.write will print first choice. That is, we have entered the first condition and we have the first choice, and if we enter B, then the second choice will be printed. If you are not giving any value for grade as A or B, then the default case document.write unknown choice will be executed. If all the cases fails, then the last statement default will be executed. Let us see the example for this switch case by entering the expressions for switch case. So if I am entering the grade as A, the choice is first choice, and this break statement present in the switch case will come out since we are not going for a second expression. To switch between one switch case to another switch case, we are using the break statement. To come out of the particular conditions, we are using switch case. So these are all the types of conditional statements or selection statements available in JavaScript. If else, nested if else, and multiple selection constitute switch case. So next important statement control structure is repetition statement. Repetition statements is nothing but we are going to execute a set of statements again and again until the condition is being satisfied. So that is called as repetition, or to do a work again and again is called as repetition. So repetition structure also known as looping statements. So it can call this as repetition or looping. So it is used to specify that a script is to repeat an action while some condition remains true. Until the condition is true, the statements will be executed. The condition is false, the loop will come out of the control, that is the program control will come out of that loop. So what are all the parts of the loop? We have three parts like initialization, loop condition, increment or decrement. So there are three parts: initialization, loop condition and increment or decrement part. So the name and the three parts constitute this: name and initial value of the control variable, and this control variable is being iterated to do a specified set of tasks again and again, and so that this control variable should be modified each time. So when the final condition is being executed by the interpreter, the transfer of the program will come out of the loop. So let us have a break. Welcome back after the break. Before the break we were discussing about the repetition statements or looping statement present in JavaScript. So there are three parts of loop. First one is initialization, loop condition test, increment or decrement. So initialization is the control variable present in the loop. So then we are going to execute a set of statements again and again. So whenever we are going to execute set of statement, the control variable should be modified, and when the control variable reaches the end value, it will come out of the loop. So the name and initial value of the control variable, the increment and decrement by which the control variable is modified, this variable is modified through the loop, and the condition tests the final value of the control variable to determine whether the looping should be continued. So when the final value is being reached, the condition or transfer come out of the loop. So next, the control come out of the loop. So what constitute the for loop? The for loop is used to specify how many times the script should run. So we can test that condition, how many times the loop should run, with loop condition test. So here we can specify the number of times that specified task should be repeated. So the control actually works here as, first the initialization part, then the condition is tested, the condition is true, the code will be executed. After that, the control variable is increment or decrement. So the for loop works initialization, condition, code to be executed, and then only increment and decrement part. So this is the working condition of for loop. So let us see an example for this. So here my control variable I have declared as I. So this is an control variable, and this loop will be repeated 1 to 7 times again and again. So the final condition is 7. When the 7 is being reached, the loop control will come out of the loop. So this is a final value. Here we are modifying the loop variable as I plus plus. So when first time I is equal to 1, yes, it is less than 7, it will print the value of I as 1. When 7 is being reached, the loop will control come out of the loop when the value is greater than 7. So this loop will be repeated until the variable attains the value 7. When the value is being 7, it will come out of the loop. Let us execute this program and see the output. So the first I value is 1, the loop has been modified by I plus plus, so it will be incremented to 2, again the loop variable will be incremented by 3, again 4, so I plus 1. So I plus plus in the sense increment operator, it will increment by 1 by 1. So this loop terminate when the value is equal to 7. So this is the condition for loop. So initialization, condition, a set of statements will be executed, and then increment and decrement part. So this is the working of for loop. So next version or type of for loop present in JavaScript, which is not available in other languages, is we can iterate the objects or values present in program. So it is present, it is a type of for loop present in JavaScript, which is used to iterate the value present in the objects. So when we are declaring the object, we can specify the values. With the help of the objects, we can gather that value by using this for loop, that is for variable name and for variable name in object. It is a type of for loop. So here also for variable name in object and set of statements to be executed. If the condition is true, then the set of objects value will be retrieved and printed, or it will be given or stored. So let us see an example program for this for loop. So I am declaring the control variable as I and some output variable as text, and we have a variable called details, which contains an object f name and l name, that is first name and last name. I am storing the value as first name with some string and second object some value with single quotes. So these f name and l name both are objects, and we are specifying with this variable details. So we have two objects, and each object has a value, and we are using this for loop for I in. So this is the special case in details. So details variable contain two objects, Ashok and Kumar. So this object will be accessed, and the values will be fetched using this statement and will be concatenated and stored in text. So Ashok Kumar will be concatenated and printed. Print in this document.writeln. So we are getting Ashok Kumar as output. So let us see this. It is used to iterate the values present in the objects. So the object values are Ashok Kumar. So first object and second object value has been fetched using for and loop, and it has been concatenated. So we can fetch n number of object values which is present in a variable using this foreign objects. It is a different type of for loop which is available in JavaScript. Next repetition statement is while loop. So this is similar to for loop. Here also condition will be tested and set of code will be executed. So the while loop is used when you want the loop to be executed until some specified conditions become true. When it is false, it will come out of the loop the same way as for loop. So the syntax is while the condition is true, until the condition is true, the statement will be executed. So let us see an example program for this. So I am declaring the marks, average and the average value, etc. So I am entering the 5 marks for student using while loop. So I need 5 marks for calculating the average and sum of the marks. So definitely we need I less than or equal to 5. So this is a condition to be until the condition is satisfied, the marks will be entered. So we can enter up to 5 marks. When 5 marks have been received by the while loop, the total will be calculated and the average will be calculated, and the average is being printed here. So here the increment part lies, whereas in for loop we will specify at the end of the for loop. Here also we are specified at the end. So we are testing the condition here. So the initial value is 1. The first mark will be received by the user using this windows.prompt. So we can get the 5 marks through this windows.prompt. So we can since all the objects value passed in JavaScript is a string, we cannot concatenate the string to calculate average. So we need to convert that string value into integer. So for that purpose we are using parseInt. It's a function which is used to convert inbuilt function which is used to convert the string value into integer value. So marks, and we are calculating the total. Total is being calculated and the average is being finded, and it is being printed using average variable. Let us execute this for calculating the average marks of a student. So first we have to enter the marks. So 5 marks will be entered. So the average is 64.5. So until the 5 marks have been specified, the loop will be waiting. Once it is been reached the value 5, the average is being total is being calculated and the average is printed. So this is an example for while loop. So when the condition is true, the statements will be executed. Otherwise the loop will not, until the condition remains true, the statements will be executed. Otherwise it come out of the loop. Next the variant of while is do while loop. Do while loop, here the condition is tested at the last, and do while loop will be executed whenever the condition is true or false. The body of the statement will be executed once whether the condition is true or false. So that is the difference between while and do while. Here in do while the condition is tested first, the condition is true, the statements will be executed. In do while, whether the condition is true or false, the statement will be executed. So do while is the variant of while loop. The loop will always execute a block of code once, and then it will repeat the loop as long as the specified condition is true. The loop will always be executed at least once, even if the condition is false, because the code is executed before the condition is tested. So the syntax is do condition, the code to be executed, and then we have the condition. So always we have to terminate do while loop. In while loop we should not terminate it. So until the condition become satisfied, so we have to terminate this loop. So let us see an example for this. So I am printing 0 to 9 less than 10. So 9 numbers with using this while loop. That is a program for a while loop. So do, I am not specified any condition. So I is equal to 0 is the initial value, and do the document.writeLn, the number is, we are going to print it and we are going to increment every time I is equal to 0, I is equal to 1 until I is less than 10. So this is the stopping condition here. So we can terminate the while loop to specify this end of the condition. So this while loop will be repeated 9 times and it will be printed. So 0 to 9 and it will be printed. So let us see execute this program. So from 0 to 9. So first is 0 initial value and the 9 is the last value, since we have given while do while less than 10. So whether the condition is true or not, the statement will be executed until the condition remains true. So let us see the difference between while and do while. While is entry controlled loop, since we are checking the condition at the first, and do while is exit control loop, since the condition is tested at the end of the loop after the body is being executed. So in while loop, when the condition is true, when the condition remains true, the body of the statement will be executed. Whether the condition is true or false, the body of the statement will be executed at least once in do while. So while loop we should not terminate, and in do while we have to terminate the loop at the end. So this is the difference between do while and while loop. Next important conditional statement is break and continue. So this two statements are used to break the control out of the loop, or in selection statement or in repetition statements like loop, for loop, while loop, do, for, and etc. So as the name indicates, break statement will come out of the loop. It will not consider the remaining part of the coding, whereas continue statement will skips the current statement and continue the remaining part of the statement until the condition becomes true. So the keyword for break is break, it's a statement. So the break statement when executed in a while, for, do while or switch statement causes the immediate exit from the statement, whereas the continue statement skips the remaining statement in the body of the statement and proceed with the next iteration of the loop. So let us see an example for this. So we are printing here simple for loop from 0 to 10. So the initial value is 0 and the final value is less than or equal to 10, that is 10. And if I value is being 3, we are indicating that it should come out of the loop. We can break the loop, or we can come out of the loop by using this break condition when the I values is equal to 3. Next is continue statements. When the continue statement is encountered by the interrupter, the program flow will come out of the current statement and continue the rest of the statement until the condition remains true or the condition is being satisfied. So let us see the continue example. So here also we are printing the values from 0 to 10. When the value becomes 3, the third value is being skipped, the loop is stopped here and then again continues. So the rest of the values from 4 to 10 will be printed again. In break we will come out of the loop entirely, not printing the remaining statements, whereas in continue statement we will print the remaining values by skipping the current statement alone. So the difference between break and continue, so both continue and break statement will be used in selection as well as repetition statement. So when break statement is encountered, the control will come out of the loop, that is to exit a loop. Here exit the current statement in the loop and continues the remaining part. So it stops loops to process, it continues the loop instruction. So this is the basic instruction or basic difference between break and continue. So let us summarize this session. We have seen control structures, types of control structures, difference between while and do while, and difference between continue and break, different types of loop like a normal loop and foreign loop. And let us have some question for understanding purpose. So what is meant by control structures? What are the types of control structures? What is the difference between for and while? What is the difference between break and continue? Write the application program to implement control structures. Let us conclude this session on control structures in JavaScript. We will see functions and arrays in upcoming sessions.